Hello, everyone. Aquarian Humanitarian here. Today, we will continue our dialogue. I'm grateful and excited because we get to sit with Sir Tato Malay again. He has so much wisdom to share with us, and this time it is about the qualities of a Kamalayan learner. Kamalayan means consciousness. So the last two sessions we covered qualities number 1 and number 6, and today we will continue and see how much we can cover in an hour. So with that said, I want to welcome and introduce Sir Tato Malay. Welcome.
Hello again, and wonderful to be here again in your podcast, Jane. So I would like to say, well, we're here again to share with you our uh, knowledge about how or what a Kamalayan learner should be like, because it's not easy to learn Kamalayan. So that's why we need to prepare people first to become a Kamalayan learner. So these are the qualities that we need for you to become a Kamalayan learner. Because aside from having an open mind, because many of the things we teach here are very shocking. So
Yes,
very controversial. That's why
very
if you don't have an
controversial.
open mind,
Yes,
you
correct.
will really have a hard time understanding what we're talking about. So
It's not going to
basically,
resonate.
I was able to define what a Kamalayan learner is like because I mean it's not just being open-minded. So it has also the other qualities that now we are discussing here. So we finished two qualities already. The first one is a Kamalayan learner has a new vision of a new world, and the other one is a Kamalayan learner knows the uh, is aware of the principles of being a divine person and a human being at the same time. So basically, being God and being a human being at the moment, because we are really spiritual beings. So with that, we had tackled with that last week, for the last 2 weeks. So now we're proceeding with the other 18. Actually, there are 20 of them. That's what I wrote in my book. Kaya ang hirap ituro kasi ang dami. Sabihin ng mga, what, ano ba yan? Ang dami-dami. But I need to really explain this
Mm.
thoroughly for you to be able to say, well, I think now I understand why we need those qualities in us. Because
Yeah,
the moment you say, oh, that's me, oh, that I have that, okay. Now you're on your way to really becoming an enlightened Kamalayan learner.
yeah,
All
correct.
right. So it's just like attending a retreat, but the retreat doesn't happen in a place. It happens, well, in yeah, Zoom videos like this or in
Correct.
Kamalayan Cafe sessions. It's not really a formal thing, no? Because I don't insist on really having a one-time, big-time thing, because
Mhm.
otherwise it's information overload all at once.
Yes,
Talagang they'll be shocked,
absolutely.
and somehow if they're not able to process yet the others, they will not be able to proceed to the next level. So it's okay. Just to tell you, it's really hard, but I think it's a new thing. That's why it really looks hard. Otherwise, if we are already at ease with what we're doing, I mean, you won't have a hard time. But then again, I'm sure you are now for the first time learning that. Wow, yeah, I know. I need to learn how to become like that. Because like yesterday, I had a Kamalayan, last Sunday, I had a Kamalayan session in Montalban. I mean, where I got to talk to some composers that I
Hmm.
needed to talk to and shared
Hmm.
with them the seven universal principles. And for the first time, they thanked me, sabi nga nila, you know, we are already old, but at this point in time, we have realized that we have a lot to learn. And we are thankful that we are now learning all these things at this time. So it's not
That's
too late.
awesome.
So basically, that's what we're here for. So we'll proceed. So let's now go to the number two quality.
Okay.
The number two quality of a Kamalayan learner is a Kamalayan learner transforms. Transformer. Ano ba yung transformer? Hindi yung transformer na pinapanood nyo sa cartoons or whatever. But basically, yeah, you have to transform in a way that you will change your image completely. All right, but I will read again what I've written in my book so that we won't miss out on anything. I will stop from time to time. If you need to question me, let me know. So I will not continue as if para bang just doing this yeah, ano tawag dito? Parang
You're
walang
just
nangyayari.
reading it, basically.
I'm just reading it. Okay.
Yeah.
A Kamalayan learner transforms. To reform is to effect change by criticizing, mending, and correcting, hoping that something better will happen. Okay. The first sentence, to reform. What is to reform? Di ba, we have the reformation centers, reform centers, wherein we actually put in people who are juvenile delinquents and somehow parang we expect them to be reformed. And that's how we use that name or that word reform most of the
Yeah.
time. You use it with children. Oh, we have to have these people reformed. But what is really to reform? To reform is to effect change by criticizing, mending, and correcting, hoping that something better will happen. So you criticize. Di ba? Normally, that's how we reform people, by telling them what they are doing something, that they're doing something negative,
Hmm.
and then mending and correcting. So that's how reformation happens. It is a slow process wherein the outcome seems remote because it is done in a negative manner, usually as a result of a negative action or punishment. Di ba? You go to the
Hmm.
principal. You need to be uh, reformed by the office, by the school, because you're
Yeah.
doing something that's not in accordance to our rules.
Guidelines or rules. Uh-huh.
Di ba? So again, as I've said, we criticize negative action, and as a result, ang consequence of punishment, we punish them. I mean, if you want to reform people, although not necessarily to punish, but most of the time, that's the outcome.
Hmm.
Okay. Now the second one is development. What is development? Development is a slow growth process. Mabagal ang development eh. I mean, you develop from step by step or level to level. So it's a slow process. One at a time rather. So again, development is a slow process, while transformation involves radical change. All right. The difference there is development is a slow process, while transformation is a radical change.
Okay.
It involves radical change. Why is it so? Because, nga, once you start, okay, I will just read this. A Kamalayan learner explores new ideas, examines other possibilities, and questions belief systems. So the moment you explore new ideas, examine other possibilities, and question belief systems, at once you will actually create that change that you're looking for. Because somehow something will not anymore be there. Instead, a solution or an answer will appear. So that's how that thing, radical change, is actually being described here. Explores new ideas, examines other possibilities, and questions belief systems. He alters his line of thinking with new concepts, and he experiments with the unknown. He analyzes what has to change and the reasons why it has to change. Okay, we had been programmed since childhood of certain beliefs that we still carry with us to adulthood. Many fears that we have are a result of this programming. The way we live our life is the sum total of all our beliefs, beliefs, whether positive or negative. Our world is the way it is now because of some outdated beliefs of 2000 years ago that are still uh, that are still influencing us. What do I mean by 2000 years ago? I mean, the church had been indoctrinating us with their beliefs of where did those beliefs come from 2000 years ago, and still insist that these are the beliefs that we should believe in. Everything had changed already except those beliefs 2000 years ago. Okay. Many doctrines presented in most of our popular religions, written to suit the early primitive times, are still being used to control our lives at present. It would take real transformation to effect changes in our modern world. The question is whether people have the courage to question their own traditions and religious beliefs. So, are we supposed to question? No, we're just supposed to follow. That's how we were indoctrinated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why nothing has changed because nobody is
Yes.
questioning. We just
Yeah.
accepted everything.
Yes.
Given the condition of our world today, specifically our lives, are we contented where we are now? If not, then we really have to start searching for new answers to our old problems. Even Kamalayan learners themselves are looking for answers that everyone else is looking for. Now is a chance to unite and work together to establish the new order by cooperating in a manner in which we start opening up our minds in accepting new insights about our life in general and learning about ourselves in particular. There is a new world to be explored and discovered, but only those who will take the risk and let go of their past negative beliefs will get there. Yun. So what can you say about that? What did you
Um,
see different from anything that you have been, well, doing as well?
no, there's no variance in what you're saying. I resonate with what you said 100%. Um, Unfortunately, like you said, we're indoctrinated, indoctrinated. So,
That's why we need to transform. We do not need to debate because we cannot do it in a logical manner.
yeah, we need to start asking questions. If it doesn't make sense, start asking questions. Don't just, don't just because they say, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. If it doesn't make sense, question it because in the past, we're afraid to question it. Whatever they dictate, that's it. That's all we're
Yeah,
doing. But a lot of people are now waking up and a lot of the things that are happening doesn't make sense. So people are questioning it.
exactly.
So
I mean, the way we pray, the way we do rituals, I mean, the way we do things inside the church. Wow,
yeah,
does it really help? That's a question. Because
yeah,
if it doesn't really help you, why are you still doing it?
yeah.
Di ba? I mean, many people are still doing it even if nothing has changed in their lives and still suffer. Because,
Well,
tanggapin mo
the
yan.
right. Yeah. And also because they don't know anything else to follow but that.
Yeah,
That's why we're doing these dialogues, these talks, because we want to open um, people's mind about um, what's out there outside of church and religion.
Yep.
So start questioning
So,
things. If it doesn't make sense, you know, just like what the Bible says, right? Seek and you shall find,
yeah.
right? So start seeking, and you have to learn what the truth is. Otherwise, you're going to live your life and possibly leave this timeline not knowing what the truth is. And then you're going to have to keep
Mhm.
coming back, going back in circles until you figure out the truth.
Actually, we're not criticizing anything here.
No,
It's
we're
for you
not.
to find out. Okay
Correct.
lang ba ang
Yeah.
nangyayari? I mean, if you are not anymore happy with what you're doing, why are you still doing it? I mean, that's
Yeah.
the only question I'm here asking. There is
Yes.
a there is an alternative. Kamalayan,
Correct. Yeah. If things
whatever.
doesn't make sense anymore, that means if you're not resonating with things anymore, if you're becoming too uncomfortable with your life, then start seeking.
Exactly.
Start raising
So,
your consciousness.
all right. So, nothing to add more to that
No, that's it. That's it.
because we'll
Go ahead.
proceed
Go
to
ahead.
number. Okay, we'll proceed
So
to
what is
number
this?
three.
Number three. Okay.
Kamalayan, number three quality of a Kamalayan learner. A Kamalayan learner is concerned with the inner self. It's really about our inner selves, our inner world that we're supposed to be concerned with. Okay, I'll read what I wrote here in my book.
Okay.
Knowledge of oneself is the most important thing a Kamalayan learner has to learn. Transformation can only happen through an understanding of how the mind, body, and spirit work together in one's life. One focuses on developing himself to be the best he can be. Without understanding oneself, how can one change himself? So we really have to understand who we are. The inner self controls everything outside. Nothing happens outside which doesn't happen inside first.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know that. A man attracts everything according to his consciousness or Kamalayan. The consciousness of a person is the inner self which man has to develop. The power that moves the world is within. Our world is created through our imagination, feelings, and thoughts. Where are our thoughts focused on most of the time? If we dwell all if we dwell always on negative thinking, we will move toward the direction of that negative world, or we will. I'm sorry. We will. We will move toward the direction of that negative thought, and we will manifest in the outside world negative manifestations. What influences our thoughts? Basically, our habits. What brought about our habits? Our programming. What what brought about our programming? Our beliefs. The personality of a person is the outward manifestation of his programming, beliefs, habits, and behavior. Attitude is a result of how one thinks of himself and his views about life. All right. This is an area in one's life of which many are not able to take control. They think this comes about in their lives while they are unaware of what is happening in their minds because they think they do not have a choice. They just accept things as they come and are not able to discern at the moment whether to accept or reject them in their system. As a result, they are imprisoned by their habits and programming. To change programming, one has to change one's beliefs. For change to occur, a new belief has to set in. The old belief has to let go. Letting go is very hard to do because, especially when one has lived with it for so long, that it has already become a habit. Consciously thinking oftentimes of what has to change and supplanting it with something new is the key to transformation. the greatest transformation happens first within oneself. All right. So that's basically a an additional thing to transformation, but being concerned with the inner self. Any feedback from you?
No, it's pretty straightforward. So, yeah, unfortunately, like you said, not a lot of people know that. They think that they cannot control their outside world, their reality. In fact, they do. They can. So it's just a matter of working and going within because, um, whatever is as above, so below, like I said, it's
Mm,
as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. So macrocosm and microcosm, macro,
yep.
micro. So whatever is happening inside is just simply a reflection of your reality. So if you're not happy with the things that are going on with your life, with your physical reality, then go within and figure out, okay, what the, you need to really spend the time. That's the number one problem, I think, because nobody really sit down. Nobody really meditates. Nobody
Mm,
just sit and reflect on some of these things. People are too busy. They don't have time to do that.
exactly.
They're on their phone scrolling. Um, but if you really want to change your physical reality, then you have to go within, meditate, reflect on what are the things that are that that's happening that needs to be changed. First of all, you need to have an awareness. We have to always practice awareness. Like without
Exactly.
awareness, how can you figure out what needs to be changed? So that's why you really need to sit down and meditate and reflect on everything that's happening in your life. Okay, so for example, you're having a challenge. Think about it. Okay, so why are you having this challenge? Because that challenge is not an accident. Nothing is an accident. So what is the lesson that this situation is teaching us? What do we need to change so this situation won't happen again? And then decide, if you don't want to have that kind of reality, then you have to work on yourself, whatever it is that you need to do. Perhaps your your personality, how you deal with others, people around you, your coworkers, your spouse, your parents. um, so yeah,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
needs to
Thank
be
you.
done.
But I mean, we see people now complaining about AI, especially about robots. But if you really look at ourselves, we are the robots that we are afraid of because we are just doing everything mechanically. We're not doing anything. I mean, we're doing things without thinking. I mean,
Yeah,
we're just acting according to our habits or programming,
correct.
whatever there is. I mean, automatic, we do those things. And so we are robots. Tapos nagko-complain tayo about AI na about these robots that are taking our jobs now.
We are the robots.
We are the robots that we are supposed to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Anyway,
One thing I want to add, Kuya Tats, you know, about the study says, the study shows, the research shows that 85 to 90% um, is our unconscious mind. 85 to
unconscious mind.
90% is our unconscious mind is in charge, 85 to 90%, which means
Exactly.
we're 85, 90% in autopilot. So if you're not
Autopilot.
aware, yeah, so if you're not aware and you're not in the
You're a
present
robot.
moment, you're not, you don't, you're not aware of what you're doing, of what you're saying, it is highly likely that you are doing something that may not be beneficial to you in the long run. Uh,
Exactly.
that can be detrimental to you. So the thing is, that's why they teach us to practice. mindfulness, so that we're always aware every moment, so that when we know that we're doing something that's not good, then we can shift it right away. But we don't
Right.
have that awareness, then we're just going along, going with the flow, not realizing that we're harming ourselves or we're harming others.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, let's now move on to number four. The fourth quality of a Kamalayan learner. A Kamalayan learner is proactive. What is the opposite of proactive? Reactive. All right. Anyway, I will read first what I wrote. Kamalayan learners are leaders and they want to change the world for the better. They have a strong determination to achieve what seems to them is a life mission, a new world order. They have a powerful drive to change what needs to be changed, not to just wait for things to happen. As visionaries, they are ahead of their time. They have already seen the future and that they know the future is beautiful. That is the reason why they are proactive. They want to get things going and are somehow impatient with how things are at present. Never giving up is a way of life for a Kamalayan learner. He has the willpower to win all his battles, although he would much rather prefer a win-win outcome. Being a negotiator is a distinct trait. What is good for him should also be shared with everyone. Since he does not run out of ideas, this learner, this Kamalayan learner just keeps on actively pursuing opportunities that could make things better. He unravels new concepts that have never been tried. He communicates new ideas that could elicit responses to start moving towards certain goals or directions that will bring about a heaven here on earth. Solving problems to achieve the desired results is part of a Kamalayan learner's daily fare. He welcomes problems because he knows that there are available solutions. For him, a problem is not a problem if it doesn't have a solution. A plan or a project amounts to nothing if there are no results from it. So that's what I wrote in my book as to how a Kamalayan learner is proactive. Because we know already, we've seen the future. It's beautiful. So we want to share that to people. Di ba?
That's
I mean,
correct. That's the key. But that's what's missing. The fact that they have not seen the future.
mm,
So now that now that you heard it from, you know, from us, then you
yeah,
can shift, be proactive
I mean,
in changing, and like that's another thing that you know that that came to mind actually this morning, that I wanted to make a Facebook post on, about sovereignty. I heard,
sovereignty.
yes, we are sovereign being, but we're not acting like a sovereign being. We just keep following and following and following. It doesn't work like that. In the 5D earth, in the higher realms, there's no politician or leaders that's governing people.
Yeah,
We
we
are
govern
all,
ourselves.
yeah, we govern ourselves. And when we ascend to the higher realm, when finally we get to 5D earth, none of that, none of this political structure will exist. It will be very different. That's why it's important. And again, I learned this a couple of years ago, because a lot of people was having a hard time, because we're so indoctrinated to just follow what we're being told by the government,
Mm,
by the politicians. We don't speak up, even though even though we think it's it's not right. And that's why we created this kind of world. That's why it's so
Exactly.
messed up right now. And we need to go through this process right now of seeing what has been done so that we can see the mistake that we've made. Otherwise, if we don't see the mistake we made, we're going to keep repeating it. That's why
Exactly.
whatever is happening right now is what's happening right now. In order for us to get to the next level, we have to make sure that everybody's on board, everybody knows, why we ended up this way. Because if people don't understand why we ended up this way, that's most likely it will repeat and we cannot have that happen. So that's why the people that are going to ascend to the next level are the ones whose vibration is already ready and aligned with the 5D, New Earth frequency. Now, every soul um, made a decision already what they're going to do in this lifetime. So we cannot really force, what we want on anyone because
Yeah,
everyone
free
has
will.
their own journey. Everyone has free will. But we're here just to plant seeds. Some people will resonate, some people won't. And it's okay.
Yeah.
We're looking for
Oh,
people who are ready
yeah.
to take the next level and so that they'll know that we're here. They can talk to us, we can have conversations and open up the line of communication because that's the only thing that like we have to all get ready for the next level. We are going to be the leaders. The people who are ready to ascend are going to be leaders and are going to be the ones who's helping the younger souls. Because Kuya Tato and I
Exactly.
were like billions of years old. We're very old souls already.
No, but Jesus already mentioned it in the Bible. Follow me. I am not I am in this world, but I am not in from this world, sabi ni Jesus. Which means, yes, I am now, you are now seeing me, but basically I have a different world, really. That's how Jesus really explained the 5D thing.
Mm,
Whatever that line would say, it's pointing out to a higher level or higher world.
yeah.
A better world. And somehow, this is what we're trying to explain to people now. We are now ascending now to a new world, a new earth, a heaven on earth. This is what we are now experiencing. Tapos hindi pa rin nila, si Jesus lang ang gumawa nun kasi Diyos siya. Sabi nga ni Jesus, follow me. Do what I do. I mean,
Yes.
you can do what I'm doing.
And
Okay.
more and
And,
better.
and
That's what
more
that's what he
and
said.
better.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you still have time or are we already
Yeah,
one
we're good.
hour?
No, no, we're good. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Now we go to number 5, the fifth quality of a Kamalayan learner. A Kamalayan learner is not judgmental. Kamalayan learners are open minded, believe in the free will of people, and accept them for what they are. They believe that people can become who they want to be and do what they want to do. They do not condemn because they see only the potential and the possibilities that can unfold through them. The moment one judges another, one reveals his own equivalent negative trait or attitude. Everything that we see in others, whether positive or negative, is also inside us. When we accuse another of being a liar, a cheat, a thief, or stupid, we also announce that we are also a cheat, a liar, a thief, and stupid. That is why a Kamalayan learner always tries to point out mostly the positive. And when he sees the negative, he is reminded of what he still has to change inside him. Judging others is another way of saying one is better than the others. All right. When one realizes that he only sees the negative in in his situations and in people, he has to check out and analyze a lot of things in his own belief system. Any kind of prejudice can be a form of violence. The concept of separation has brought this to a level that our society has accepted as part of human nature. It is okay to kill those out. It is okay to kill those outside of our group because we do not believe in the same things, and therefore they do not belong to us. Is what we hear most of the time from terrorists, religious groups, countries, fraternities, and elitists. This is where humanity belief system, or this is where humanity's belief system has brought us. As long as people think that we should live separate from each other because we do not believe in the same things about religion, culture, or lifestyle, we will never achieve oneness in this lifetime. Love has not yet been understood to mean oneness. It is about time that the universal meaning of love and forgiveness be communicated and resoundingly. I'm sorry. It is about time that the universal meaning of love and forgiveness be communicated resoundingly to every individual all over the world. So that's what exactly what I say about a Kamalayan lawyer is that judgmental. Anything to add to that?
I do. Actually, when you were reading that, I remember somebody had told me that I was judgmental. I was, yeah, I was judgmental because I was pointing out some things that are um, that are negative. Um,
Mm,
the thing is, if I don't speak the truth, nobody will. That's
nobody
my
will tell them.
yeah. That's why I'm not a very likable person because I tell it like it is. I don't
Mm,
sugarcoat anything, and I don't people please. And for me, it's not being judgmental. It's actually coming from the space of love, but they don't see
mm,
it that way. They see it as a
yeah.
negative, but it's not because nobody else will point it out to them for them to correct it
Actually, okay, that you're very correct. Also, I mean, for you to say that. But then again, when people say, "What's the use of telling them that?" They will never change. Okay, there's another truth to that. They will not change unless that change would come from themselves.
from the person.
Because it's why we have to more really emphasize the positive things. Because if we emphasize the positive things and show the consequences of being more positive about life, then they will adjust to it, warm to it, rather than if you always condemn them and say these things, telling them that, you're really bad, you have to change. But the more you emphasize that being bad to them, they would more of defend it rather than, see the opposite of it. Because, parang they would accept it as is. That's why a lot of things don't work out that way also. So that's why I emphasize, I made this a quality of a Kamalayan learner, not to be judgmental, accept everything as is, but show what is supposed to be the model, the positive things. Actually, the negative thing that we see are just reminders for us that we are still somehow are affected by what we see in others. If we are affected, that means we are also a problem. We have also that problem. That's why we need to also understand that, you know, it's a two-way process. I'm thankful to people who remind me of my negative attitudes or attributes because somehow without them, I wouldn't know what to change in me. That's how I look at them. That's why I don't have enemies anymore. I thank my enemies because they show me what are supposed to be changed inside me. And that's how we explain it in Kamalayan. Na, I mean, that's why when I actually analyzed the statement of Jesus to love everyone, especially the enemies, your enemies. Why? Why would I love my enemies? Yung pala, you should be thankful. They're not really your enemies, but you think of them as enemies because you don't like them. If you don't like them, because there's something that you don't like in you. So somehow that's how I came to that conclusion. That's what I'm teaching here in Kamalayan. So practically, again, it was a long process of me understanding this thing. But when I understood it, oh, okay, now that's how I understand Jesus' teachings of loving everyone, forgiving everyone, no judgment, accepting everyone, whatever they are, like in a way.
You know,
So with that,
I
yeah,
do I do want to add something real quick because it reminds me of a lot. Like when you're saying these things, it just kind of reminds me of the things that happened recently with, some situations that I had to deal with, the challenges that I had to go through it. The thing is, this is a lifelong journey.
yeah,
The
lifelong.
path we're on is a lifelong journey, and whether we like it or not, we're always tested. There are always people playing roles
Yeah,
in our lives and check how equanimity we are. Equanimity meaning how balanced we are. We're not reacting. We don't have cravings or aversion towards things. And it takes a lot of practice. And my gosh, if I didn't learn and practice Vipassana, I probably wouldn't be as grounded as I am right now because I'm a totally different person before. Oh my gosh, my son would attest to that. I'm a completely different person. Well, because when I was working for corporate, it's like it's cutthroat. I'm swimming with a
mm,
shark. So
correct.
that's the kind of attitude, that's the kind of personality I had. I had to be
Corporate
tough.
life.
I had to be tough. So anyway,
I know that
it's a
because I also came from the corporate world.
yeah, yeah. So it's a totally different world, and
Competition.
universe pulled me out of that. Attempted to pull me out 3 times. The third time, I finally listened, and so here we are, doing this, doing this work. But the path is long, and we're always
Yeah,
learning. The thing is, we just have to make sure that uh like I said earlier, we have to have an awareness of what's going on, what situations we're dealing with, because that situation is not an accident. That situation is supposed to teach us a lesson. And to be honest, I was like you, I am thankful for the people that play the role in the challenging situations, because if it wasn't for them, I'm not going to be able to learn the lesson. So yes, I am grateful.
mm,
I don't have any hard feelings or anything like that because they did me a favor. If it wasn't for that situation, I would not have, things would have been different. I probably still not learned that lesson. And situations happens in our lives and it will repeat unless we learn the lessons that we're meant to learn, that we wanted to learn in this lifetime. So when you
exactly.
have that understanding, it's hard to be upset with anybody. It's hard to not forgive these people
That's
because,
why
yeah,
that's why for me, I am able now to really get along well with everyone. And that's part of EQ as well, learning how to have a high emotional quotient
yeah,
because otherwise it really, you know, uh, practically express your emotions in a negative way towards a lot of people, which is not exactly working at all for ourselves on a positive thing. So practically, we are learning slowly but surely.
Yes.
So do we
What
still have the time to continue?
I want to add something real quick. What I learned also is that I learned to choose my battle.
Yeah.
I learned to choose my battle. I mean, I'm very mindful of my energy, where I'm putting my time and effort and energy, because I'm
Mm.
not, like I'm not the person I used to be. Like I would just fight with anybody. Oh my gosh, I was very tough and I was very aggressive. That's the
Mm.
corporate world that that I grew up in, that I lived in. It was tough, but yeah, it's like, okay, well, um, they they are doing that because they're ignorant of that what the consequences would be. That's how I
Yeah.
see things. They are
Exactly.
not they are not understanding the consequences of their actions. That's why they're doing that. So you just have to let them be. And so I don't fight anymore. I'm happier.
Yeah. That's
So
why we are now living in a different world, in a
yes,
happy world,
yes, heaven on earth. That's where we live in.
heavenly world. See?
Yes.
Okay. Do we still continue or
Yeah,
it's
I
time
think
already?
we can do one more. We
We can
can
do
do
one
one
more.
more.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. So the next one is okay, number six, but we discussed that already, being human and divine. So we go
Hmm.
now to number seven.
Okay.
All right. This is kind of not exactly controversial, but anyway, I will just explain it the way I wrote it here. A Kamalayan learner sees perfection. Perfection. Purity of thought leads to perfection. Honesty, love, unselfishness, beauty, and joy can never materialize except in their purest form. Be, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect, said Jesus. The world is perfect, no doubt about it, unless you believe that God created something not perfect. It is just unfortunate that we know better than God and that we created a vision of our world as something imperfect. Why is that so? As long as man cannot see himself as perfect, his world will remain as such. Absolute love is what is supposed to be given. There is no other way except to love absolutely, unconditional, because absolute is an attribute of perfection. Unconditional love is one and the same as that of being perfect. Divine love is perfect love, but can man love divinely? Only when man will finally accept that he is also a God. You are gods, Jesus said. Absolute honesty is what a lot of people cannot comprehend. To many, telling white lies is permissible and it just could not be avoided. Which is easier, to tell a lie or not to tell a lie? When one lies, one has to remember exactly what is said from the beginning, and what happens later, on is that the lie keeps on adding more lies to sustain the first lie. Okay. It would be hard to remember exactly everything said. Sooner or later, you will be found out. Nothing can be kept a secret for long. The truth shall set you free. With a lie, you are trapped. Absolute unselfishness is not practiced the way it should be. Many still do not understand the principle of giving and receiving. They believe more in what is called the scarcity mentality. They feel that when one gives away something, it is forever lost and will not come back to them. This is why corruption becomes a way of life. One thinks one thinks that there is not enough for everyone. Prosperity will not happen until man learns how to give and share. The world is perfect. It is man who sees it as imperfect. We should change the defective lens. We should change the defective lens we use when we look at everything in this world. But before we see this, but before we see the purity and perfection outside, we must first see the purity and perfection within. That's it. A Kamalayan learner sees perfection.
Problem is they most of the people will not accept that. That's the problem.
See, I mean, that's why
Oh,
Kamalayan is not popular because when I talk
mm,
about these things, they cannot really accept what I'm saying.
right,
So
right.
you're not realistic.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I mean, for those people who thinks that that's unrealistic, like I said, seek and you shall find. Don't listen to us.
Yeah, I
Seek for
mean,
yourself. We're just planting seeds here so that
yeah.
people will open up to, what's still out there outside of what they currently know. We're not here trying to convince you. This is not for us. We're doing this for you out of love.
Well, we're just here to really propagate all these kinds of lessons or thinking. So take it or leave it. I mean, that's
Yes,
all. We're not
correct. Yeah,
forcing, we're not indoctrinating people. We're just opening minds. I mean,
right.
that's it. I
That
mean,
there's
so for now, yeah. Oh well, as you said, we will contain it in just 1 hour.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to add something to that, Kuya Tats. I think we can give, I think we have like 5 more minutes, so it's okay. Um, there's so much to be said in that topic.
yeah,
But first, I wanted to, because I forgot to mention this earlier, when you were talking about where Jesus is in different realms,
mm,
actually, I want to mention this so that people can start, if they're interested, looking it up. The Book of Enoch. The Book of
yeah,
Enoch, it's not part of
the
the
Bible.
the Bible that we
But it
read.
was mentioned.
And
I mean,
there's
Enoch was mentioned there.
yes, but think why they wanted to take the Book of Enoch out.
Exactly.
Ask, seek, and you shall find. When you understand
Yeah.
and when you learn Book of Enoch, things will make a lot more sense. And the higher realms is is described in the Book of Enoch. So the
Mhm.
dimensions, the realms, we're not making this up.
We're not inventing
These
anything here.
we're
Actually, if
not,
you really want to learn all these things, there are available other books out there that you can read.
yeah. But we wanted to know, we wanted you all to know that we are here for those people who are open to learn these things. Um, Kuya Tato Malay, he always has every other Friday Kamalayan session in Quezon City.
For that matter, you mentioned it. I mean, this December we will not have any more. I mean, our
Mm-hmm.
Friday was the last time because I mean it's Christmas time, holiday
Mm-hmm.
season. So we will start again our Kamalayan session January,
Yeah.
second week of January.
Okay. So
All
second week
right.
of January, the Kamalayan session will resume then, and check his Facebook post because it would provide the address and the exact date.
We'll go
Second
back to
week.
Makati. We'll go back to Makati because you have a hard time going to Kamyas.
No, it's okay. It's okay to
No. I mean, other people also have a hard time going to Kamyas. So I decided, and I think it's better really to again go back to Makati for that matter.
it's okay to rotate it. Um,
Yeah, but
because that
see,
was the
I go to
plan.
I go to different places. Like Sunday, if people will
Yeah.
be in that area, I am the one who would go to their place. Like I went to Malabon. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where I held my Kamalayan session last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just tell me where you want me to go, I'll go. As long as it's MRT, LRT, carousel accessible.
Yeah. How many people were at the Kamalayan session last
There
Sunday?
were uh, three of them actually, but those three are really the kinds of people that I really wanted to talk to. Remember, I'm looking for the composers who would
Yes,
actually
yes,
write the song.
yes.
They committed already. I sent them all the
Mm-hmm.
lyrics, and they're now happy doing the melodies for the songs. And so
Oh,
practically, we'll be
good.
having our 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 songs by the next year, by 2030.
That's
So
exciting.
I'm happy with that
That's
development.
exciting. Very good. So, Kuya Tato, would you wanna share where people can get your book? It says in Amazon.
Wala na sa Amazon eh. Actually, I'm selling it on my own PDF.
Okay.
Just email me. Just
Okay.
message me in Messenger. I mean,
Okay.
wherever you are. So practically, I can send you all the copies on PDF
PDF.
format.
Okay. Okay.
But
So
basically,
digital
it's the
format.
same. It's like reading an ebook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Sure, sure.
But I
That's
have
how.
four titles, so practically they can choose among the four.
So when you so
Mhm.
you have four books.
Four books available.
Okay. Do you want to
Lessons I
share
never learned in school.
the
Well,
you
lessons
want?
I never learned in school. Um, the Galactic Testament, uh, from unknown to unforgettable for show people who wants to really be in show business. And
Mm-hmm.
the last one is love and relationships in the 21st century. So that is wow. That is really also a good book to read. I've
Okay.
written so many different new concepts about love. Maybe
Wonderful.
next year we'll talk about love naman. We'll talk about one of my books.
Yeah, we can do that after we cover this
Mm.
20 qualities of Kamalayan learner.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll finish first the 20 qualities. We've already done seven of them now.
Very good. Very good.
So
So we covered them two, three, four, five,
seven.
not six, but seven. So we covered five
Uh,
today, right?
five today, plus two the previous ones.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So
Yeah.
when I post
So next
this, when I post this, I will be tagging you so people know how to reach you, and if they want a copy of your books, then they can just direct message you.
yeah, no
All
problem
right.
with that.
Wonderful. And in YouTube, I will show your the link on your Facebook too, so they know how to
Okay,
reach
all
you.
right.
All right. Wonderful. Next week, I'm not sure if you're available, but
Yeah,
we
I'm
don't have
available.
to. You're available on the
So
23rd?
it's still 2 days before Christmas because Christmas is
Okay.
Thursday, I think. So
Yeah.
Tuesday, I'll
So
be available. I don't know if with you. I mean, if you'll be busy, you
I
might
will make
be
time.
having some.
I will make
So
time for
let me
it.
know.
It's
I mean,
only an hour.
which
Yeah,
will
I
be.
have it.
Yeah,
I have it scheduled already. So
kasi sayang
unless
eh. I mean,
yeah,
we're already creating this momentum
yeah,
in
absolutely,
YouTube
absolutely,
and Facebook.
absolutely. Yeah. So
Mm.
no, I'm good to go. I mean, these are already scheduled in Zoom every Tuesday. So I'll see you Tuesday. I'll see you next week, and then
All right.
I'll post this later or tomorrow. All right.
Okay. See
I
you. Thank
hope
you guys.
I hope
Merry
you guys
Christmas
learned
to
a
everyone.
lot. Yes, I hope you guys learned a
Yeah.
lot, and you guys know how to reach us if you have any question, and attend the Kamalayan session one day so
Yep.
we can
Meet
meet
you in
you
person.
personally. Yes, correct. All right. Have a good one. We'll see you next week.
See you. Bye.